Well?
I've run every search engine, still no clues.
No reference to Ved on the search engine.
Nothing.
I don't understand. Ram's got something planned, Mega. But I just don't know what it is.
Paradise.
There could be more to it than that. We have to work together to keep the Technos intact.
For your sake or for Ram's?
Cynical, Mega, very cynical. If Ram's got rid of Ved, he's capable of getting rid of anyone, including you and me. So we just have to proceed with great care, okay?
Welcome to Series 4, Episode 49 of Conversational Eagle Mountain, a podcast about the tribe. I'm your host, Lance. Joining the podcast panel today is Liz.
Hello.
Sabine.
Hi.
And Tamsin.
Borita.
With episode notes done by Matt and myself. So Series 4, Episode 49. The screenplay was done by Marie McNeil. It was directed by Peter Nathan. And the episode synopsis was read out by Tamsin.
Amber, Jay, and Ebony depart the eco camp, but the Technos are not far behind. Siva gets a glimpse of Lex's dream while Pride crushes May.
Leaving Bray in the care of Trudy and the Ecos, Amber returns to the city alongside Ebony and Jay, as Trudy provides a crypt clue to a confused Hawk about her sudden change of heart. On the road, Jay and Ebony get on so well that Ebony feels the need to feign a twisted ankle to get some attention from him. So yeah, panel, what do you make of the Amber, Jay and Ebony triangle here?
Okay, let's start from the beginning. I wish we'd seen just one scene of Amber struggling with her decision to go back to the city. It's almost comical that Trudy's like, about your son, I'll take care of him. And it's like, I don't think she's worried about him at all. I don't think he ever came into the decision about her just deciding to go back into a war zone. And over trauma. There's not even a discussion or reasoning from Amber as to why she goes back. That's all I want. I want my typical Amber. I'm struggling through this, but this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm fighting for. This is why I think it's worth it. Da da da. That's all I need. I don't even care if the reason she's going back is Jay. I just want her to say it. Just tell me why you are willing to leave your child behind to go back to a place where it's possible you might never come back to him. And I just want that. You know, I just think it's annoying that we don't even get that scene as to why she's going back and pretending that it's a difficult decision to leave her kid. You know, like, show me hugging him. Just show her hugging her child and be like, Mama's coming back. I promise I'm doing this for you. Just anything.
Yeah, agreed.
The only thing I really liked about it was the way that Amber watches Ebony when she fakes her twisted ankle. It's in the background and she's watching Jay and Ebony together, and you just know exactly what Amber's thinking. And she's looming there in the background. It's really, I mean, it's such a bad scene, but that at least raised it for me because I hated everything about this. I hate what they've done with Jay and Ebony's relationship. I mean, it wasn't very much of a relationship, but to go from, as you pointed out, Liz, where we were 2 episodes ago when she was ready to give everything up for him and they were going to run away into the sunset together, and now he's completely over that because he's got what he wanted. I think you put that so well across when you talked about that in the last couple of episodes. But this scene really, really shows that more than anything, that there's just this disconnect with Jay and Ebony and the way that Ebony is to get his attention. And it's just, I mean, the whole thing just gives me the ick.
Well, of course it does. It's like Sorry, I can barely watch that part. It's just so cringe.
Yeah.
It is.
It's-
It is very
Yeah,
cringe.
and not just the fact that no, but not just the fact that Amber doesn't seem to give a shit about her own kid, but the whole, oh yeah, you guys are going back to the city. I've decided to come with, and then Ebony feeling threatened enough to have to behave like that to try to keep his attention even a little bit.
I'd respect more if Amber was fully aware of what she was doing and knowing it annoyed Ebony and was just, enjoying that. Like, just her
Hmm.
own mild, petty revenge. Like, oh, this is going to drive her crazy because she's so insecure, or if Amber could have just admit that she enjoys flirting with Jay. She likes his attention, and the best part is how much it pisses off Ebony. I'd respect that because again, I
Hmm.
don't care if Amber's thought process is, I'm gonna steal your man. I don't care if that's how she feels because she, again, doesn't owe Ebony anything. I don't
No.
care about any of that. It's like, okay, fine. But I don't like how the narrative plays it as though Jay and Amber are innocent and Ebony is uh being melodramatic, like
Hmm.
Ebony's in the wrong for being annoyed that her boyfriend is basically behaving now like she doesn't exist, not engaging her in conversation, not checking in on her, is acting oblivious to the fact that she's clearly irritated and wants to address that and see if she's okay, and the fact that she has to fake an injury to get this man's attention, and the narrative is like, oh, so pathetic. And it's like, no, Jay is pathetic. This whole storyline is
Hmm.
pathetic.
And I think it throws away everything that they've attempted to build throughout most of season 4 between Ebony and Jay. It just throws that all down the toilet. Now, when we have watched this in retrospect, this series, what you have seen is, as you've all said, Jay never makes any firm commitments towards Ebony, and etc., etc. But this one of those relationships that's built up in the fandom to be a really important relationship, and the show itself pushed it, and they flushed it all in the toilet in 2 episodes, and it is just it's bizarre.
Yeah, I don't understand the choice. I really don't understand why you would, like, again, Ebony and Jay don't have a great relationship, but you spent an entire season bending over backwards trying to convince us that these two belong together, that Jay loves
Mm.
her so much. That it's just, oh, if these two could just figure out their issues, da da da, all the misunderstandings, all the broken hearts, all the betrayed trust, blah 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 blah. Okay, and you just threw it all away by making Jay in 8, you just said, "No, he never cared." You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like, he didn't give a crap about her.
yeah,
Like, she's already yesterday's news. He's just
Hmm.
annoyed with her. He's treating her like, inconvenient baggage on this trip now, and
yeah,
we're supposed to dislike Ebony's attitude. Right? You can dislike Ebony, fine. There's so many reasons to dislike her, but you shouldn't dislike her because she has an attitude on this trip. Because
No.
this is justifiable attitude for her to have given the circumstances.
yeah. And I don't know if this was just me reading into this, but I also got the feeling he was embarrassed by her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he was embarrassed to be seen with her, but the minute he saw Amber, he was just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this? Oh, between us?" I mean, we were just leaving the city at the same time, so,
But it's wild because Ebony is many things, but she is not in. She is not someone you would be embarrassed by.
Nope.
No. I just hate this whole opening scene.
Yeah, it's grim. It's really grim.
And
It feels like it's just there to show us that no matter what Ebony does, she'll always be deemed inferior when it comes to Amber.
I also hate how I don't care about Jay, but I hate how like Amber is not aware of her own feelings here. Like she knows how she feels when someone special enters her life, but the way they write it, it's like she's really blissfully unaware. She doesn't know what she's doing. I just don't like that aspect.
Which is crazy
yeah, me
because
either.
even Trudy sees it.
Yeah,
That's why I said I'd have more respect if Amber was fully aware that, oh, I know this is driving Ebony crazy, and you know what? That makes me feel good inside.
Yeah,
I'd love it if
it's
if she
about
was
bloody
watching
time.
Right, like, if she was watching them too and actually had a knowing, petty smile on her face, rather
Yeah.
than the, wonder what that's about. I don't know what
Hmm.
Ebony's acting like, stop it! Amber's not that stupid,
She isn't.
Give her some freaking agency. You're already gonna blame her for this breakup anyway, so then own it.
Oh.
Let her have it then. If you're gonna make her the fault, make it all her fault that these two don't make it so that we won't, look at Jay, the man behind the curtain, fine, own it then. But they can't both be innocent in this, okay? They can't. But they want both of them to be
They
innocent
want both,
while
yeah.
making you. Yeah,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
look at Amber. This is all her. This is all her doing, but she's not really doing it, right? And it's like, stop. Cut it out. Just let her own it. Just let her be flaunting it. Be like, is there a problem, Ebony? You seem a little tense. Just anything. Like,
And I got nothing positive to say about Jay here at all.
oh my
Oh,
god.
oh,
All
that
his
that
goodwill.
He's just
and that look on Hawk's face though. Why on earth is he leaving again?
Yep. Why is our leader abandoning us again?
Why is he going back
Again,
to the city? He said he
poor
never
guy.
would.
She clearly didn't even discuss it with her tribe, like her reasoning
Nope.
behind it, you know.
Mm.
You're my tribe. You take care of my kids, and see ya.
Mm.
Yep, tell him I love him and I'll be back soon because I don't have time to say goodbye.
Well, I mean, I think this really underscores again something that we've all said, and I've said a hundred times, is that that baby shouldn't exist. It's pointless to the narrative. The way that, as we've all said, it's just parceled off to anyone who's in range and of a age where they can hold a baby. It makes Amber look bad, and that's not her fault. It's that you can't take this baby with you. The narrative kind of stops around the baby because of the things that Amber's called upon to do. So it would have just been better if they had just not had this baby.
Yeah,
And
he's
that's
a
what
he's a leftover prop from Bramber because that's all he
Mhm.
Yeah.
was, and once they lost Bramber, they were stuck with a baby. They're like, ugh.
And the thing is, I know this is dark, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. They had the opportunity to write the baby out
Yep.
in the first couple of episodes by just,
Something went wrong,
yeah, the baby didn't make it.
and we blame Ebony for that. Yeah, that could have worked.
Ooh,
But
that could have been
That would be
wow.
too dark for the new censors, though, because if it
Yeah,
was back
yep.
in
I think
season
so.
2,
Yeah,
absolutely. But
Yeah.
here,
But now
mm,
yeah.
it's like, but it's even though you can't take a baby with you. Well, what did Trudy do with Brady then? She strapped her on her
Yeah, but
back and took her with her to Eagle Mountain.
I think the thing though is that Trudy did things a bit differently to Amber, though, didn't she? Like Trudy wasn't the leader of a couple of tribes and
Mm,
mhm.
doing the same things that Amber's doing. So I
Yeah.
get where you're coming from there, Sabine, but I just think we didn't need multiple babies. Basically, we just
oh
needed
no,
Brady.
we never needed extra babies.
We
But
didn't. We didn't. It doesn't do anything for the narrative. And who even, like, we know who Brady is. It's weird. She's just a baby still. She's a very young child, but we kind of know who she is. And that her relationship with the other members of the tribe has been really, really well fleshed out, right? It's
hmm
not just that she's got a connection to Trudy, but everybody in that mall felt
yeah,
a connection to Brady, right? Even Lex feels a connection to Brady to some extent. Like they all, like Ryan, all of them felt a connection to Brady. Bray, baby Bray, or as I call him, young Damien, nobody feels the connection to that baby, even Amber.
no,
Well, Brady was well thought out. There was a purpose to them
Yeah.
introducing us to a young girl pregnant during the apocalypse. There was a purpose to it. Brady was never a prop. She was a symbol of this new world
Yeah.
and the challenges within it, and she continued serving such a purpose to the
hmm
story. She represents this innocence and the struggle. She always served a purpose till, last couple seasons. And but Bray was never he was never envisioned for his why did they need why did Bramber have to have a baby? The only thing somebody thought was, wouldn't it be cool if Bramber had a baby? Wouldn't that
Mm.
cement their love for each other? And if that's the only reason the baby ever existed, and why they sped up the pregnancy that the baby could be born as a cliffhanger and all that jazz, once Bramber was gone, the baby no longer needed to exist, but they were stuck. They had committed to a baby. And no one ever really thought, well, what could the baby mean? What could the baby
Mm.
symbolize? What could his purpose be in this world? They washed their hands of him as soon as Bramber was out the window, because he only
Mm.
existed for Bramber.
Yeah.
He was like a what do you call it when you're he was an impulse buy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And I mean, there's a version of Baby Bray that works if Dwayne had decided to stay and we'd had Bray and Amber, because obviously they just hand him off to each other, right? Like, oh, I've got to go and do this, you take care of the baby. I've got to go and do this, you take that sort of thing, right? So it
Hmm.
doesn't feel like they're neglectful parents because they've got a partner they can hand their child off to, okay? But as it is, it paints Amber as this neglectful parent, which we know she isn't, because she's many things, but neglectful is, well, it from season one, let's say, neglectful was not what Amber was. She has become neglectful because of certain things that have happened in the plot. And this, the way she treats her son, because as you say, he's just an impulse buy, is it's so detrimental to her character.
It wasn't appealing to them, the idea. Like, sometimes they like the idea as of Amber as a single mother because they'll still use her prop,
Mm.
and it doesn't work though because they're not committed to it. They both like to use it for drama points. Oh, she's a mother, and this must be so difficult, the decision she has to make for her child's sake. But then as soon as it's not convenient for the plot, the child is shuffled off because it's like, well, we don't want her to be identified that way, and it's like they almost look down on the idea, like Amber being a mother makes her lesser.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I'd also say there's a hierarchy between Amber and Trudy in terms of their motherhood. Now, it feels like, and this could be again my misreading of the text, or also me putting too much into it, but it feels like Amber is placed above Trudy because her relationship with Bray was out of love, and they had a proper relationship. Whereas Brady was born out of a one night stand and everything that happened with Zoot and Trudy. I could be reading that wrong.
And no one could ever love her mother because she's completely undesirable and undeserving of
Hmm.
happiness.
Yeah.
Yep.
That could just be a fandom interpretation of what we're seeing and how these two
Mm.
are held up within the narrative. That fans are left to interpret who's a better mother, what they're trying to say to us about motherhood. They never explore what motherhood
No.
means to Amber. We watched Trudy struggle with trying to balance being her own person and having a child. We've seen her go through phases where motherhood was all consuming. It was literally her only identity. We've seen how motherhood has saved her from despair. When everything else has gone to crap, she has this beautiful little being to live for, and that makes everything worth it. They explore what motherhood means to Trudy, the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads, the pretty, the ugly, everything, and it can drive you to do, how you can lose
Yeah.
yourself to it and how you struggle to find anything outside of it. They do not explore what having a child means to Amber in any way.
No.
And yet, Amber is always, by a lot of people in the fandom, Amber is often deemed the better mommy.
I mean, honestly, for Amber, motherhood is barely an inconvenience. it's,
Mm.
it's just,
Yeah.
he's barely there. There's always somebody else who can take care of him. There's no lack of sleep. Unless the plot calls for it, her motherhood barely plays a factor in her story at all.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to have any effect on her character either, because we've spoken about how motherhood had affected Trudy, and that, you know, the stakes are really high for Trudy because it's not just her. If everything collapses, if the mole rats fall apart, what does that mean for her and Brady, right? It's huge. Whereas for Amber, there's nothing. There's no sort of high cost for her. If things go wrong, oh well, you know, it'll be okay. The stakes are low, even though she's got a child. It is, yeah, it's so poorly thought out, especially since the plot of this, you know, Amber's story is actually quite sad because you've got somebody who, yes, she got pregnant, it wasn't planned, but her and her partner decided to raise the baby together. So she had that, at least she thought she was going to have his support. And then he's taken away from her and she loses that support. So, I mean, that's
And she
really
even
tragic.
she had contemplated ending this pregnancy.
Yeah, she had. Yeah, I think if she thought she was going to have to go alone, she probably would have ended the pregnancy. But she had him, she had his support. They were going to do it together, Team Bramber, and then he's taken.
Maybe that's why she's not connecting with him.
If anything, this child, really, we should have seen Amber forged out of fire from this, because
Yeah.
why did she not want to have the baby? She didn't want to bring a child into this world where there's no guaranteed safety. She saw her friends struggle through this. She does not want to do this. She doesn't want to walk that road. And Bray's like, you will not do that alone. It's different. We're going to make a beautiful world for our child. And that is what convinces her. She was holding on to that dream that Bray painted for her, that they could possibly make this world someplace worth bringing a child into. And then he's taken from her and she goes into despair and she's like, I'm walking away from it all. I'm just taking my kid, the one safe place I know exists. And then she is forced to realize that even that place isn't safe because she's kidnapped by Technos. She's tortured. All of this could work towards forging an Amber who, this is why she is willing to leave her child behind, because she is trying to create that picture, that world that she and Brady were determined they would make for their son, you know? But it is never discussed. We never see her struggle with how hard that is and what she's fighting for him.
Yeah.
I like the location shots. I'll give it I'll give it that. There's some nice wide shots that are nice. Yeah.
Yeah, to wrap this up, I got a little thought exercise for you guys. So obviously we've got quite a few comments across our channels, and the prevailing thought is that Amber and Jay was conceptualized from the beginning and was always meant to happen. So here's the thought. So if Beth had stayed for season 4, how do you think it would have happened? How quickly do you think they would have made her forget Bray? Especially considering that Bray hasn't been killed off, so it's not similar to Bray and Danny.
No, I was just saying, if it's anything like the way they handled Lex and Tysan, they would have ruined it. In fact, the only remote thing that salvages Bray and Amber and Jay is that they don't have many connections in season 4. They have brief moments where something she says has made an impact on him, you know, but that's it. So she's had the chance to mourn. But if she'd been stuck in this season with the rest of us, I do not think they would have actually given her that time to mourn.
Yeah. We would have gotten a level of her being sulky about Sasha level of mourning.
So I think that it might have played quite similar to this, because I think they might have given it a little bit of a longer lead simply because of how popular Bray was. Although with this new audience, who can say? Because obviously they would have no idea who Bray was, like they don't know who Tysan was. And you think about it, I mean, Tysan is the cornerstone of Lex's relationships. She's the one he keeps going back to. We see evidence of that here. She's a really important character to him. And you know, you can't argue Bray is the same to Amber, right? He's the love of her life. But I wonder if they would have played a more Ebony, Amber, Jay love triangle earlier, with him drawn to Ebony, getting with Ebony, realizing he's chosen the wrong one. Maybe that kind of route they would have gone down.
It could have worked. I don't even have a problem with Jay choosing Amber and that being the one he wants to be with, and not being Ebony or whatever. I don't have a problem with the idea of any of it. I just don't think they would have given it any thought. I don't think they would have put the effort into telling that story.
I think the only thing that would have been an improvement with that would have been that they probably skipped over the Jay and Trudy crap.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they would have had it in season 4 between Ebony, Amber, and Jay. So they
Yeah,
wouldn't have
and then
needed
they would spare
another
Trudy
love
Jay.
triangle. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
they
who
just
knows?
forgot
I
They
mean,
about
still
they didn't
they
even
might
want
have
to hear,
still
but they
done it.
still shoved it in. Yeah.
Right, they still probably would have pulled it into season 5 when they were like, "Okay, we got Jay and Amber together, but we need a conflict." And so there'd be some
Yeah.
misunderstanding. She'd be
Yes,
like,
true.
"I'm feeling guilty. I can't be with you because I just found out Bray's dead." And then she would have dumped him or something, and he would have ended up with they still would have dragged her into this freaking massacre.
Poor old Trudy.
Oh, all right. Yeah, we'll come back to this subject quite often. But for now, oh yeah, to the other couple. As Ram begins making preparations for entering Paradise Forever, Java plays the dutiful wife and tells him that she doesn't want him to go. Behind the scenes, however, she's rattled by the disappearance of Ved still, and is convinced there is something more to the Paradise program. To this end, she tries to convince Mega to look into it and to locate Ved in interest of the future of the Technos and themselves. So yeah, I know we have talked about it before, but what do you make of Java's flip-flopping?
So I'm really confused about this because from the way she made it sound, she didn't know that his plan was to go into reality space when she's actually known for about 5 episodes that it was. And I was
Mhm.
really confused because I was like, what? This is a sudden revelation to you when Ved and Ram have already told you this is the plan. And it feels like we're going round and round in circles with this whole story with Java, with RAM, with like we said a couple of weeks ago, the wheels have come up. There were wheels, but that feels like this year. It feels like the wheels have completely come off. There were never any wheels. Wheels weren't even a concept in his mind. None of it makes any sense.
I will say that this is one of the few times I totally agree with everything you just said, Tamsin. It's not like Java actually gets any new information, but she acts like it's all new information that she didn't already know. It feels very repetitive in that way. But I will say this as a positive. I like that regardless of what Java's storyline is, whether she loves Ram or not, this still works because of how quietly and subtly she's playing it. You could definitely interpret her actions as someone who loves Ram and is upset at what he's doing, and is going to miss him or mourn him or whatever. And this is not the life she wanted to live with him, where she has to visit him through a computer, just to spend time with the man she loves. And it can also still be interpreted as someone who is just faking it because she's trying to survive. And I like that because when I prefer subtlety anyway. And so I like that this can be played both ways, regardless
Mm.
of whatever storyline they have Java on. This scene with her way she's behaving, it works in both storylines. She's cautious this episode because, she's got things on her mind. She's thinking of the future. Yeah, he's going to be laying in his latex bed, but the rest of us still have to function, you know, and if the Technos fall apart, where does that leave me? I won't have Ram's protection. He'll be in basically comatose, and who's going to care if he gets on a computer screen and tells everyone to be nice to me or whatever? Who's going to actually take orders from him? You know, I like that it can be played both sides. She
Hmm.
can still be in love with him and be concerned about these things. And she could have always been rooting for his downfall and is just pretending to be dutiful to protect herself.
I like that he's freaked out about Ved's disappearance, though.
I mean, you would be, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I'm glad there is.
I'm glad that's not just oh, Ved's gone. Oh well.
Yeah.
She even makes a comment about that, which I really like, where she mentions like Ram. I don't even know what Ram was saying. He was rambling, and she was just like, Siva and Ved were in your inner circle too. And I like that because she's digging at the fact that you discarded my sister very easily. And we can only speculate about the history there. She was literally his favorite wife, and he was like, whatever, you know. And Ved was his right hand man. You know, they were a part of your inner circle, and they were discarded easily. You can interpret it as Java being like, how can I ever feel secure in my position? I'm your least favorite wife. You know what I mean? You got rid of those two. What does that mean for me? You know? And she's being very careful in that scene, you know, and I like that, you know. It's like she's got real things to worry about.
Yeah. I also want to just take a minute to talk about, as you mentioned, the latex bed. So the practical element of that is every time you roll over, you are going to wake up. You're going to hear yourself all night, just so uncomfortable, just grim. The sweat factor.
Nah,
Ugh.
at some point it'll just stick together and be like cling wrap.
Oh,
He just won't move.
it's just a weird choice.
A weird choice. I was like,
Coming from Ram, nah.
is this because they don't want to change his diapers while he's in there? Like, what
Yeah,
is
probably.
why?
Hmm. They can just hose it down.
I like the conversation with Mega, you know. I just like his performance all the way around. I think
Yeah,
it builds up to what's coming next. That Mega's already got plans. You know, he has not put
yeah.
his eggs in Ram's basket. And he's just like, ah, well, you know, that's the plan. That's what he's going to do. And he's already thinking of what he's going to do after.
I like how nonchalant Mega is as well. And I think Java struggles with that because he's so lukewarm all the time, isn't he?
Mm.
Whereas Ved could either be spiky or he could be on Java's side. Mega's really hard to read, so she's never sure if he is with her, against her, whatever. And that's something we're going to see going forward as well. I really like that.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable.
It is, yeah, because like Ram is one thing, but you can tell really what he's going to do from different points. He's easier to read, but Mega, oh my god, he's so hard to read. You would never know what he was going to do next.
Yeah. He has a really enticing sociopathic energy about him that I love.
Yeah,
He's just pretending to be human. It's
yeah,
uncanny. Like, so how do you feel about She can't get a read of what his opinion is about this because he
yeah,
doesn't seem to have one. He's just, this is what's happening. And she's like
yeah.
trying to be like, yeah, and that's crazy, right? You know, this is, you know, Ram's worked it out. So we'll see. Like when she tries to fish for like, so what what do you think that's going to mean for us? You really think that the Technos are going to work after this? And he's like, that's the plan. Like, that's
Yeah.
unsettling.
But we've all had that one
And brilliant.
coworker that's a bit like that, haven't we? I mean, I know I have, and you're like, oh my gosh.
I know so many people like that.
I need details. They won't give you any.
Nope.
And that's what makes them great at those kinds of jobs.
Yeah.
He is a fishless lake. You can dangle all you want. Nothing's biting.
Mm,
Mega's like the definition of unbothered.
he is. He's so nonchalant. It's brilliant. And if anything, she becomes the bait. She's the fish that's getting caught because he's watching her and how she's reacting. If I was Java, I'd just cut my losses at this point. I'd wait for
And
him to go into
run.
reality phase and then, run. Like you said, cut your losses.
Yeah, she doesn't have the imagination for it, you
Yeah,
know?
that's true.
And I think that's so sad because one of the first conversations she has with her sister is, do you ever just dream of, you know, a better life, being with a better man, you know, a real man, all that stuff? And it's just sad that she cannot act on the things that she would like to have. She's
But I
stuck in
think
a rut.
maybe that difference though between Java and her other sisters, because for her it is just a dream. She doesn't practically put anything into getting these things. They are just fantasies. Whereas for Siva and Ebony, they make them real. They don't sit there kind of fantasizing. Although I guess Ebony does about Bray. That's probably the only time that Ebony's actually given herself over 100% to fantasy. Whereas most of the things, they make them happen.
But see, even with Ebony and Bray, it still works because it may have been a fantasy, but she still acted on the fantasy.
Yeah,
She,
yeah.
her actions are still driven by what was in her own brain. Like, I'm going to murder your girlfriend. I'm going to kidnap you. I'm going to destroy the lives of people around you until you choose me. All of this was based on this fantasy she was living in. She was still acting towards what she wanted. You know,
Mhm.
Siva, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to run off with this idiot. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to steal medicine for him. You know, I'm going to sneak off with him, you know. And Shiva was the one who was afraid to dream. But Java is like she's stuck in a groove, and it's not even a groove she made for herself. It's grooves that other people make for her. And she just runs in place on the treadmill that somebody else deigned her to run on, and she doesn't even recognize that. It never occurs to her, just step off the treadmill and see what happens.
Yeah, because we all assume that it was his Rams like of Siva that put them in that position. But what if it didn't go like that? What if
Right.
Java was the one that he liked initially, and then she's kind of fallen by the wayside because of Siva? Like, there's so much going on here, and like you say, Java's just a character that there's real inertia to her. She's not going anywhere.
Because she doesn't have a compass.
Mm,
There's no direction for her to go.
no.
I mean, even when, you know, season 5 starts and you think Java has a plan, it wasn't her plan. She's still running in
Mm,
place in Mega's groove that he made for her.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you think about what happens to her eventually in season 5, if she had just bided her time and not called her out immediately, because Ebony's prepared to do a truce until Mega is defeated.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like that's the most initiative Java ever shows is I'm gonna kill you publicly. Like I
Mm,
could shoot. It's like if you really want her dead, just play nice and then poison her. You know what I mean? Smother her with a pillow
yeah.
in her sleep once her guard is down. Like this is ridiculous. And that's the first time this woman actually takes initiative. It's just to get herself
Mm,
killed.
So, Sammy introduces Mouse to Paradise,
Just think about whatever girls think about.
What if I don't like it?
Impossible. You'll love it.
but she thinks it's evil, taunting people with things that they can never have. Sammy later shows his downloaded dreams to Lex and is offended when he scoffs at them, only to discover later that he's mixed up his disc with Mouse's. So yeah, what do you make of the interlude here with Mouse and Sammy in this episode?
I thought Mouse was cute as usual. I love her acting. I love the way, like you say, she's so frustrated because these are things she can't possibly have. I am confused if I'm confused again, so help me out, guys. I'm confused. So these aren't memories, though, are they? But later on, they will be memories, but they're fantasies. I don't get it.
It's like it varies per person, I guess.
I too thought it
Maybe.
were going to be generic, you know, scenarios that people could step into. But this first rollout is clearly whatever you think of, and then it makes basically a 3D printed vision of that for you to look at and feel immersed in. Um, I I'm not even gonna try to figure out how that could work, but whatever. Okay, that's the first rollout, and I could see where that would be addictive. And I will give him credit for because I thought it was weird when Sammy goes, he just puts the headset on Mouse and goes, just think about what girls think about. And I was like, what? Like, so this thing can read your mind.
Yeah,
Um,
basically.
that's a first, okay.
Hmm.
It reads your mind, and whatever you think about, it basically downloads what you thought about, creates the image of it for you so that you can, like, again, relive it in a very visceral way and interact with it. And now you have that fantasy on disc that you can go back to at any time. So you're burning DVDs, sorry, you're burning DVDs from your mind. um, okay, I think that's what this first rollout is.
That's why I wondered a couple of weeks ago. I said, "Do we think it's porn?" And I mean, we later see them selling CDs, so I did wonder if there's a black market turned out in porn in this as well.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
It is. It is a mess. I mean, you can see why Ram's so impressed by what he's done, because, I mean, this is huge. But
Yeah.
still.
I mean, even AI still needs you to be like put in keywords of what you want, and it has to steal the imagery from something else, to create what you want. And this is basically you put on a headset, you think of something, and it reads your mind and makes a perfect
Yeah.
recreation of whatever was in your mind that feels like you can literally walk around in it. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
what are the limits on this?
And what's the point of the downloaded dreams? Like, why would anyone want somebody
Right.
else's borrowed dreams when you can imagine anything you want? Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question.
Only thing you need are more discs because it'd be like, okay, there's only so
Yeah.
much space on this disc. And so once you've downloaded what you thought about, there's no more room. So you have to get a new disc so you can download more. Like that would make sense. Like you're just burning DVDs of what's in your head. But then again, like they're giving away other. So maybe they are scenarios. Like okay, here's one where literally you just think about what you want, but here are some presets. I wish they were more clear about what the heck
Yeah.
is going on here.
Yeah.
Or is it just software that you download onto your headset, and then that enables you to burn these fantasies off?
I'm afraid
Any
we don't
Because
info
they're
would be
know.
not
nice, but
anything. If you wrote this episode and you were listening, please tell us what went on.
it's like literally in the same episode. I was like, what way are you trying to push it? Is it downloading memories? Is it automatic? Like what presets? Is it like what are you make up your mind?
But aside from the technology that we've had to accept that we'll never wrap our heads around because it doesn't make an ounce of sense, I liked Mouse's reaction to it. Like, I
Yeah.
loved her little Pinterest bedroom that she thought
Mhm.
of and dreamt of. Because I was like, yep, that's a top 5. That's a
Aw.
top 5. The Pinterest bedroom, yes. Okay, I will accept that because who hasn't thought about like the perfect room in their house, their little retreat, and what it would look
Yeah.
like? And I also love her reaction to, I can't have it. Like it was so real.
Yeah.
It was right there. And then I had to come back to this crappy mall where I share a room with you, Sammy. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? I relate to that
Yeah.
because when I was a little girl, I remember dreaming about a Snickers bar. And you guys, it was so real to me. And I could feel myself waking up. So I remember wrapping my little hand around that Snickers bar. And when I woke up, it wasn't there. And I was pissed off that I didn't have my candy. I was like, I held on to it so tight. So I felt her frustration and I like that. Like, this is evil. You know what I mean? These are just dreams I can't have. This
Yeah.
is crap. And it's like, it's my dream. I can destroy it if I want to. Let's just ignore the fact that there are still headsets in this mall, despite we have an addict who asked us to get rid of them. We have Celine who wanted to get rid of them. They're
That bothered me
everywhere.
so much. Yes.
Mhm. And
All of the
we
computers
keep
they
having more of
dragged
them.
out are compatible with us,
They're all
whatever.
compatible, and suddenly they can all burn DVDs.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I remember Windows XP. This isn't happening. I'm sorry.
I also wanted to say, I thought that Lex's reaction to Sammy, it being Mouse's fantasy, I thought that was quite restrained. And how Lex has been written for most of season 4, I thought it was, kind of restrained.
I
I
loved
didn't
Lex's
hate it.
performance in this episode. Like the all this
Yeah.
most of the scenes in the mall are quiet, real moments that just show people interacting, which is what I missed and I like,
Mhm.
even
Yeah.
is reminiscent. It's got, the do 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 music in the background, which is just so season 1 tribe life in the mall. Just little vignettes of people interacting in this place who live together. And yeah, the fact that Lex's reaction is so subdued, it felt much more realistic than him jumping on this
Yeah.
chance to make fun of Sammy or make a big fuss out of it. Sammy wanting to impress him, Lex just being like, okay, cool, dude, whatever gets your rocks off, and Sammy being confused. I like small moments like that. It tells you
Mm.
something about the characters and how they feel about each other.
Mhm.
Lex is distracted. He takes a moment to, okay, Sammy, show me what it is. And then he's unimpressed and just like, you know what, kid, I'll never understand people your age. I gotta get back. You happy now? I looked at it. I gotta get back to what I'm doing. You could even argue that's a moment of growth, considering how we used to treat the children back in season one. It doesn't fit, in the season, but I still appreciate this kind of writing.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it was subtle, which is something we've not seen from Lex in a long time.
Mhm.
Like, this episode made me like feel like, Lex, where have you been? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's how I
Yes.
felt.
They suddenly remembered he was there and they could use him.
Yeah.
And then he had a pass.
Oh,
Because Lex
man.
is very much the Uncle Rico of the mall, still living in his glory days, still telling you stories about how he used to catch game, all that stuff like that. But they don't utilize him or do anything with him or have him affect the story in any meaningful way. But a tiny moment like this made him feel like a real person there, you know? And I wish we had more of this through the season.
Because Caleb can do it. That's the thing. He's one of the strongest actors on the show. And it is a crime the way they neglect
Yeah.
him.
Waste of talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's stick with this. Go straight into his next scene. Siva finds Lex crying as he views something in reality space. When he brushes it off, she watches his disc and finds his memories of Tai San.
I understand completely. And I know it's all in the past now.
Sure is.
And that makes it okay.
It does?
Sure. I love you, Lex. And I met you when I met you. What went before was the past. Everyone has one. Look at mine, Ram's wife. No, actually, I don't even feel a pang of jealousy. Just, I don't know, sadness, I suppose. Sad for you that you lost something so precious and good.
The pair then confess their love for each other. So yeah, how do you react to Lex's feelings for Tai San, Siva's actions, and her own reaction to Lex's dreams?
Okay, so everybody knows that my favourite character is Tai-San, and also I love Lex and Tai-San together. But I want to say I really like this scene because, and the Siva portion of it, because it feels like a really grown-up conversation. This feels like a proper adult relationship that two people are having. When one person's basically saying, hey, you've got baggage, I've got baggage. I get it. It's in the past. I'm not jealous of this. I'm happy you had this in your life. I'm sad that you don't have it anymore. This is not going to affect us. And I really liked it. I thought the scene, it put a whole different spin on Lex and Siva because they're the least fleshed out of all the couples that we've had in season 4. And when you see this, you're like, I get it. I get why you two are together. And as much as I'm never going to change my opinion on Lex and Tai-San, I do feel like Siva might be a better option for Lex long term because I think she understands him in a way that neither Sandra or Tai-San really did. And I like it. It gave a whole different, and we've never seen two people in this show act like adults and talk to each other like this. This is Grey and Amber season 1 material that we're getting here, and that's
But
what it felt like.
I disagree because I
Mhm.
Okay.
think we all agreed that Tyson and Lex were one of the most mature
Yeah, I was gonna.
couples we'd seen back in
Well,
season 2. They had
that's
many
true.
just grown-up conversations with each
Yeah,
other.
Mhm.
yeah. And you know that I ship them like anything, but I'm looking at the concept from like season 4. This is we've not seen maturity like this entire
In a
season.
while. Yeah.
And it was the breath of fresh air. It was two people
Mhm.
having a conversation about something. It wasn't a miscommunication because let's face it, we've got Dee and Patch, they're stuck in miscommunication land. We've got Celine and Pride, miscommunication. We've got the whole thing that's going on with Ebony, Jay, and Amber. And then we've got this, and this feels like a proper proper relationship. So when I said that, what I meant was in terms of season 4.
So am I the only one who found it interestingly suspicious that Siva said, "So you're Tysan"?
No,
In what way? Like,
I didn't feel
That's like
suspicious.
it's like she was watching that and she was going, "Okay, so you're Tysan," as if she knew this girl but didn't know it was Tysan.
No, it's more like she knew Tysan's existence. She's heard her
yeah,
name.
the
That's how her
spectre
and
of
Lex
Tysan
first
has always
met.
been there.
She and Lex first met with him being like, "I want my wife, you took her." And she's like, "I don't know what you're even freaking talking about, dude." Like, she knows of Tysan, but she's never seen a picture of her. She's like,
She
"Oh,
just did her
this is
hair.
the Tysan."
Mm.
You guys ready for this diatribe? Because I got some things to say.
I
Just
am
want to
just
make sure
going to say one last thing. It was interesting. We got no Zandra, but obviously Zandra's not coming back
Mm-hmm.
in the next episodes. So we don't need a visual cue for any new viewers of who Zandra is because she's not important.
And
Yeah, Sandra's
and
dead.
Zandra's not the love of his life. To be fair,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but
She
he
never
Not
didn't
who
it's
he
need
was.
was
to
Tyson.
give
thinking
her
about.
one.
He wasn't thinking about his past relationships. He was thinking of his wife.
Wife.
He
Hmm.
was
Yeah.
thinking of Tysan. That's who he was thinking about. He
Oh.
wasn't going to go through the long list of, well, this is my love history.
Can you
It makes
imagine
perfect
though
sense
if
that Zandra didn't show up in this thought process.
but can you imagine though if Lex would have had to look at, okay, it's his dreams, what might have been, and then Sandra and that unborn baby
That'd be a different story.
Mm.
would be way more dramatic.
Okay, so I both love and hate this. I think the writing is really good. The act is really good. It's so quiet and gentle and subtle, and it actually tells us something about the characters. I too love very mature response to seeing her boyfriend in pain, seeing that it's because he's thinking of a love he lost, and instead of getting jealous, respects the fact that why wouldn't he be sad about that? This has nothing to do with me, and validates his experience and lets him know this isn't an issue for us. I'm sorry you lost that. I'm glad you had it. I think it's beautiful, and we're cool. You don't have to hide that from me. On and on. That is nice. That is gorgeous. I love Caleb's performance, how subtle he is about being caught crying. He's not snapping and yelling at anybody. He doesn't blow up, but he clearly wants to hide the fact that he's so vulnerable in this moment for many reasons. He doesn't want to share that with anybody. He doesn't want to cause friction between he and Siva. He walks out. I love how she apologized for intruding on something that was so personal to him. All of that is fantastic. I love how she's like, "I love you." And he says, "I love you too," even though there's just a hint of, does he though? There's just a hint of doubt in his performance. All of that is great. What I hate is that this is entirely unearned in this season because there has been no story through of Lex dealing with the loss of Tysan. Okay.
That's so
It
true.
could have easily been peppered in, him struggling to deal with this
Yeah.
dichotomy of accepting he's never getting his wife back and retreating the way Lex is known to do emotionally and just plow forward with his life and find distraction. But there's been no exploration of that this entire season. It's like she just ceased to exist. And it wouldn't have taken much to give him moments where we're reminded he's still struggling with it. Like Amber being tortured by the Technos, and that being a moment for Lex to realize this is likely happening to those who were taken. This is likely happening to my wife. But he had no reaction to what happened to her. May coming back should have super triggered Lex. Because that is somebody who was taken at the start of the invasion who has returned. That could have been Tysan. And she's a hot mess. And the things that she says, what happened to her, all of that could have stirred up. This is what has happened. Every time he thinks I'd forgotten, I've buried it, I took it out back, shot it in the head, and put it under a tree, something happens to remind him he didn't. It's a zombie and it's hunting him as he's trying to move forward with his life and distract himself with Siva. But they never explored his complicated feelings of trying to get over a wife that's not dead, but is just gone. This is unearned for him to finally have the chance to put on a head that'll let him visualize whatever is in his head, and she's the first thing he thought about. That is what he chose to think about. Or maybe he just subconsciously thought about her, and then stream of consciousness, all of their moments. But it's not earned in any way. And it still leaves you with a what how does he feel? You know what I mean? About, is this just a moment where he's remembering this and Siva's really cool with it and he really does love her for that? Or is this the moment where he realizes he isn't over his wife? Because that's where the story is going to take us.
True.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
For
just literally, it's just preparing the way for what's coming next.
No, good point.
so
Valid
yeah,
points.
I love it and I hate it. I'm like,
Mm. But it
this
was
could have
so
been
good to
so
see Tyson
poignant.
back.
It was. I mean, these are gorgeous moments that just reminded me of a love story I was really invested in and didn't waste my
Yeah,
time. And
yeah,
and I love that it includes shots from season 1 because I mean he was hooked on her
yeah,
from the start. There was just
Yeah.
something about
yeah,
Tysan, and I truly believe she was the love of his life. That isn't to
yeah.
say
She
they
was,
couldn't
no
have
doubt.
it's not to say they couldn't have grown apart,
Mhm.
but season 3 never gave them much chance to mature together because they were
No,
separated through most of it, and they kept using the Guardian and the Chosen as the fracture between it. But you still saw them working through that stuff. I would have loved to see them. No, because they would have ruined it. So I'm glad Tyson's freaking dead and
yeah,
buried. But and then that's not me detracting from Siva. I just want to make that clear. I'm not saying like Siva, you ain't Tyson, so why you even trying? I'm not saying that. I mean, I fully believe that love comes in all forms and that you can lose the love of your life and find another beautiful love with somebody else who's just right for who you are now. But
yeah,
unfortunately, I still think that Siva and Lex's love is undeveloped in
Mhm.
their
yeah,
story. And
yeah,
that again makes this moment unearned between them because it's not clear. We know how Siva feels about Lex, but we still don't really know how Lex feels about Siva. Does he struggle with it? Does he ever sometimes look at her? Well, how does he look at her and compartmentalize her part in Tyson even being taken? Like how does his brain handle these pieces? And when she says, I love you, I believe her. When he says, I love you back, I'm not sure. I don't know if he's trying to convince himself he loves this girl who's wonderful and there's no reason he shouldn't love her. Or if this is the moment he's realized, like, did he think he loved her until this moment that he's reminded of Tysan? It's unearned. It just keeps coming back. Unearned, unearned, unearned. And could have been
yeah.
the breakout moment of the entire season, in my opinion. But
And
Yeah.
I'd also add, if they had played or written their relationship, if they had fleshed it out at all, because you get a glimpse in this of what their relationship could have been like. And like you say, the push pull between her involvement in what actually happened to Tysan, the reason why Lex is in a relationship with her, because Tysan's not around. And if you get this, it's like a mirage that appears and then disappears. And it's like, this could have been what this was, but it's gone. And it's another wasted opportunity. And we're getting it 5 minutes before the end, which really is frustrating.
it's just more proof they didn't know where they were going. This is put here because they got the okay that Michelle was willing to come back for a few episodes.
And the worst
Mhm.
thing about this is that they will row back on this in season 5.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And that is really frustrating because we will, yeah.
So it's like, oh, Tysan matters again because we got Michelle to come back for a couple episodes. We don't know what we're going to do with that or where it's going to go, but she agreed to come back for a couple episodes. So let's throw this in here and get some drama.
Mm.
And it's just a shame because the performances are great, the shots are great, the lighting in the mall looks really good, and the conversation between Siva and Lex and everything is so good. Thank
Yeah.
you for coming to my TED Talk.
It's good to see you too.
When you disappeared, I was so worried. We all were. And Celine came and pulled us all together. She changed. I began to see her in a new light.
She's a great lady.
Oh, she is. At first, I didn't know what was happening. Neither of us did.
Well, what was happening?
We were falling in love.
But...
That's just it. There were no buts. I'm sorry, May. We had a good time together. Really good. But that's over now.
So yeah, go ahead, panel.
I just love how in one episode they boil down all of Pride and Celine's problems to May. In one episode,
Yes.
they made it all May's fault that there was ever any conflict between these two. And they do it without having any direct conversation. It's so ridiculous. Like that first conversation where she goes, I resigned as city leader. Thanks for being honest here, but you're right, you know, da 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 da. And he's like, oh yeah, you're welcome. She's like, but we're not getting back together. Ass Celine. All right, that felt so unnatural for her to throw that. Okay, so she's making it clear in that conversation we still have lots of problems. Just because I can talk nice to you doesn't mean our issues are solved. And then I feel like they did all these shots at once at that table. It's so funny that it's just at this table. Meet at the table. And this time, Pride, he confesses, nah, I didn't love May. And it's like, Celine, you freaking knew that. Are you kidding me? But anyway, whatever. He admits, I thought I did. Even that, he's still lying. But whatever. And she's just like, well, I mean, you need to tell her that. Don't you think she has a right to know that you don't, like, there's nothing there, you know? And he's like, you're using May as an excuse not to get with me. And it's like, Pride, do you really have a problem between the two of you? And that's not what she said to you at all. And then he tells May in a roundabout way that we are never ever getting back together. And again, I swear to God, if even watching this entire season, I was like, this just feels so confusing, this timeline, that the way they're talking is as if she just returned and is confused. Like, May, how do you not know that these two are together? How do you not know? Like, how did you miss that? I wish there was more words to express how she's been seeing things while she's been in her delirium and not really seeing reality, blah, blah, blah. She seemed very aware that they were a couple and all of a sudden just isn't anymore. And he's like, sorry, not going to happen. And she walks away upset. And then he tells Celine, yeah, I told her, she's mad, you're mad, we're all mad. I feel like a jerk. And she's like, no, you were brave. I'm glad you were honest. And then boom, they're together. And I'm like, wait, you're telling me that you used this episode to just boil their issues down to May. She was the reason that these two have been hot mess this entire season. Are you kidding me? Lazy, terrible writing. Hated it.
Yeah, there's nothing in this at all, and it's the way he changes, the way he doesn't get what he wants, so he just starts shouting in her face. Like you say, he immediately like, oh, you're just using this as an excuse so we don't get back together. No, no, we're not getting back together because you're insane and me. The way he behaves is just so many red. He is the king of red flags.
There was one moment, one brief moment. And it's when she comes to tell them, she goes, so I talked to Patch, and he said what happened between you and May. He wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but he couldn't help it over here. And Pride goes, so what, you needed third-party confirmation that I actually talked to her? You don't trust me? And she's like, no, I don't. And I was like, that's so honest. So please explain to me why a split second later, she's like, but we're totally going to be a couple. I bet he proposed that night, you guys. Like, these two are a hot mess. And
Yeah.
I don't know who roots for this. Like, I don't know who roots for this couple.
Honestly, it's hard to believe. Like, how people held them up as a good couple. Pride and Celine.
I
It's
can't.
just bizarre.
They really did. But when you look at it and break it down as we have, it's just awful.
It's awful
It
from
is.
start to finish. It's bad. And you know, so crazy. I understand now why people liked Ved and Chloe. I get it now. I understand. I watched season 4. I analyzed it, and I understand the what is the word they use for that couple? Cledism? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand them. I understand the Lex and Siva lovers. I get it. I understand. I even understand the Java and Ram lovers. You know what I mean? Like, I get these couples that people root for. I will never understand why anyone was like Celine and Pride, though. Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?
As if
They
Pride
might
is a
be the
better.
worst couple in the entire show. These guys are worse than Top Hat trying to get with Siva. I mean, Zandra. Like, they are the worst. They're the worst couple in all 5 seasons, these two.
And I mean, him as an alternative to Ryan as well. I mean, let's be
Oh my
honest.
goodness. I couldn't find a single
I
thing to
love,
root for. I couldn't find anything
no.
between these two. And
I
they
mean,
have
I think it,
chemistry.
No, they don't.
yes. And I think if you look at it as well as an origin story for Celine and May, I mean, there's something there, isn't there? You know, it makes it all more complicated because they once dated the same guy. But as it is, there's nothing to this. It's awful. Celine deserves better. I know that she's got a lot of detractors. I know that Sabine's not a fan of Celine. But honestly, she did not deserve Pride. Nobody deserves Pride.
No. I'm starting his behavior in this whole season, him in this whole season, take back moments where Amber was trying to push him on other women, and you're like, Amber,
Yes,
you set these women up.
you get it now. Yeah, you can see why she kept him at arm's length.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
She's like,
also, what a nightmare it must have been to wake up on that mountain, not really know where you are. This guy comes over, he seems okay, and then he slowly reveals himself as Pride. I mean, that is terrifying.
I mean, honestly, you can paint Pride as like that creepy, abusive boyfriend that no one else can see it. And so you think
Yeah,
you're crazy? Because if you look at how he's portrayed with Amber, to everybody else, he comes across as like so cool, so calm, understanding, thoughtful,
yeah,
mature, and stuff like that. But then season 4 reveals what the girl who's dating him actually goes through that nobody else
yeah,
can see. And so it makes you wonder,
yeah,
is this what Amber was dealing with this guy?
yeah,
She couldn't wait to get a
yeah,
frick away from him.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
that's afraid of
Mm.
ending it with him because she didn't know what he'd do.
I mean, it does make you wonder. It took up, and then he started acting like a stage 5 clinger, and she was like, "Oh no!" It's terrifying. It's terrifying, and he's a great example of those nice guys in inverted commas.
Yeah. And it's such a it's as if Celine hasn't been shafted enough in this season, but it's like it's made worse by her having valid reasons to not want to get back with him right away. Like, I don't mind
Yeah,
if she eventually forgives him, he earns her trust back, whatever. But she has valid reasons with him and set that boundary with him. Like, look, I appreciate you, that I can talk to you and that you can be honest with me about certain things, but that doesn't mean we're going to be a couple again. Only for her to prove he's right. She was just using May. That's the
Yeah.
reason.
Hmm.
And I'm like, Celine, come on. What a way to
Come
take a
on.
final dump on her character in this season. Because May wasn't the reason, Celine. You know that.
yeah. I hate the way they get that together. I hate it. I hate it. It's awful. I just watching this has been some form of torture. Pride is my trauma salad. Honestly.
Yeah, I give him the prize. Here's my bowl. I brought Hershey Kisses. Selena and Pride are the worst trauma I've been through in the coupledom of the tribe. I hate them together so much. Best thing he ever did for her was get himself killed.
Yeah.
I know she had a rough time dealing with it, but she's gonna be better off. I'm telling you.
Right. That brings us to our final thoughts of the episode. So, yeah, panel, how did you react to the attack on the eco camp?
Do you want to go,
Oh my
Sabine?
goodness, poor Trudy. I mean, I totally get it. He throws baby Bray there by the water. Like, that kid can't crawl away anyways. But oh, my heart just breaks for her. You can see the same level of distress she had when they first rescued her from the Chosen and had to leave Brady behind.
Mm.
It's like, once again, she's being separated from her baby. I mean, I'm surprised that Technos didn't see her or Hawk, but it's just so gut wrenching. And just the idea alone of it, that she has to go through this all again, just breaks my heart.
Yeah. Antonia, as usual, just smashes it. You could just see all the emotion playing across her features. It's like, I feel for you. I really do feel for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I did have a question though. Like, why were the Technos attacking the Eco? I
guess they followed Ebony and Jay.
Because Brady needed to be kidnapped and Trudy needed a reason to come back into the city lands. It's so obvious.
They came looking for Ebony. Because then we can blame it on Ebony.
Well, let's blame it on Jay as well.
Let's go with that. That's fine, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, in the narrative, it's that they, again, these are way too close to the city, which I complained about. They already followed Jay and Ebony's scent all the way here. Probably once they lost their scent at the Scarecrows, they just continued scoping out the area and then decided just when they realized, oh, there's a camp, we're going to raid the whole place, and whatever. This is on the egos, okay? This is on Amber for being like, yeah, let's be this close to the city. You're the leader, Amber. You have to take the blame for this one. Because you put everybody, including your own child, in danger for convenience of plot. So I don't know why I find this comical. I shouldn't be laughing. I think it's actually staged pretty well and filmed pretty well. And that would be terrifying. You're just minding your business, doing your thing, and all of a sudden these trucks come flying in and your people are being raided and grabbed, and that's horrible. But
and driving over tents.
There's something about some of the shots that just gave me the giggles. I don't know why they were so funny. I love the girl with the who literally throws it in the air, goes running. My cabbages! Right? I don't know why that's so funny to me. I don't know why it's so funny that Trudy, and I don't know why it's funny, even though it's completely relatable. When she sees what's happening, she's like, she just kind of throws Bray down to the ground. He's out of sight. He's fine. He can't roll away. He's not going anywhere. But that's hilarious to me. It's the way it looks.
Yeah. Like normally, no mother in her right mind would put anyone's baby that close to the water. But in a panic of having her child snatched again.
Oh my gosh.
And that raises an interesting point, Sabine, the way you say it again, because I just want to say, is there no better way that we could have used Rudy than to have yet another scene like this? I mean, is this it? Is this all we're going to give her?
Yeah.
We've seen this.
Because traumatized Rudy works well.
Yeah, but
I'm disappointed in the egos. I'm disappointed in them because, I mean, it was a huge plot point in season 3 when the, Lex, Bray, and Ebony were like, look, we need you guys to help us fight.
Yeah.
And Pride was actually advocating for them. Like, I've seen what the Chosen do. I literally saved this guy from being burned at the stake. We should probably get ourselves involved in this fight. And it was a big plot point. And then, Lex was like, I'm going to neg them a little bit. The reason you guys don't want to fight is because you're chicken. You're weak. You ain't got nothing to offer in a street fight. And, Pride kicks his butt. Or Lex lost on purpose. We don't know, right? And that was the point, that the guys, they were a part of the war. They were in the resistance. They were in the city fighting with the rebels against the Chosen. And here I was like, dude, the Technos didn't even use any of their lightsaber lasers on you. You guys just voluntarily got into the truck. I feel like if you want me to believe they're overpowering people, they either need to use their weapons and incapacitating people and they're falling to the ground or something, or there need to be more Technos to manhandle them, because there's like 5 of them and it's like nobody's getting away. They're just immediately being captured and put on, just voluntarily getting on the truck when they could have easily gotten away from these guys. And so that could have used a little more work and turns the whole thing kind of into a farce, just so Brady can be snatched. It's so convenient that Trudy happened to be away from her daughter with baby Bray, protecting the golden child over here. And she's looking out for that 666 tattoo showing up on him one of these days. So she's keeping a close eye. But who the frick knows where her kid is? Like, what? Why? What would be the point of that? It's just so Brady can be snatched. So poor Trudy can have a meltdown, which Antonia always comes and she plays hard and she nails it, And
Yeah.
Hawk is trying to save her because in my head, he loves her. That's his woman. He's not going to let her get captured. And you will never convince me otherwise. Anyway, and it's also, she'll be frantic enough to be like, we have to get the back, and the only people who can help are the Mallrats, especially now that Amber's there. And that's how Trudy will end up in the city. It's comical. The whole thing is silly.
So lazy. It's so lazy.
And it's so odd because, like, the way they filmed it, it looks like Trudy, Hawk, and Baby Bray are the only three people left in that camp.
Mhm.
Yet somehow Trudy leaves Bray with someone.
Hawk?
No, he comes with her back to the
No,
city.
he comes with her.
Yeah.
Okay, well then
He ain't
just leave
abandoning
him
his
by
woman.
the river. They just leave
Hawk
him.
keeps
He's just
he
there.
keeps his eyes on Trudy. He's like, nobody else is gonna look after her. I just wish she'd look my way. I got a love song for them. Don't worry, Hawk, I got you covered.
Should have
So
just shoved
she
Baby
just
Bray
leaves
down the river.
Bassinet by the river. That's it. Because we know, young Damien, he's okay. He'll be fine. He can capture fishes, bend people to his will. He'll be okay.
I mean, I will give it a pass that she's personally looking after the baby. Maybe Brady's with the other small children, playing and stuff because she's an active toddler, preschooler at this time, But the baby needs more attention, and she took him somewhere quiet. I get that. Not to mention, you tend to watch other people's kids more than your own because you can't have someone else's kid dying on your time. I get that.
Especially
but look
not
at
Bray's.
Brady's face. Brady's face is just like, not this ish again. Are you freaking kidding me? She's not even scared. She's annoyed, and I don't blame her one bit.
Do you not know who I am? I'm the divine child.
Which is quite well done for someone that age.
Yeah, she's like, if I was Trudy, I'd be so pissed. I'd be so pissed off. I'd be like, are you freaking kidding me? We told you not to let these two into our camp. Told you. And Amber was like, sure, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Oh,
this is what happens when you let Ebony in.
Oh my gosh, you let a Techno and Ebony, who are on the run from the city, into your camp, and were completely nonchalant about it. And not even give you're like, you guys should move camps while, I'm going to head back to the city, but move camps because, remember, the Technos sent it all the way up here, okay? And then we went back and got their clothes. Wouldn't be hard for them to continue sending all the way back to her camp. No, she was so unconcerned. And then be like, bye. I'm going to go back. I'm going to chase this pretty boy back into the city with no explanation as to why that's suddenly important to me again. And we'll have the audacity when Trudy comes back to the mall, like frantic, and be like, is my son okay? Like, screw your son. Of course he's okay. All right? It's my child who's always been sacrificed on the altar of storylines. It's silly. It's very silly. And as Tamsin said, it's lazy.
I mean, if we're talking about people who are underused, Antonia is up there with Caleb. I mean, at least we've had a lot of screen time. We've had with her for obvious reasons. But when we do see her, it's just these recycled storylines over and over again.
She deserved so much better.
Yeah. Or like, if you can't think
she
of anything
deserved to be with her kid for once.
Yeah. And if you can't think of anything to do with her, just write her out. I mean, just leave her and Brady with the eco.
Let her be happy.
Leave them there. Yeah.
Let her be happy with Hawk.
But this is also that Mega can earn the trust of the Mallrats by rescuing Brady.
Yeah.
By bringing her back. And then they'll trust him. And Jay will act like he's always known him.
Yeah.
But never once reached out to him when he was trying to take Ram down or whatever. It's that's it. We needed to.
But it's almost over, guys.
I tell you, I feel like we're in a car going backwards. These last few episodes are just taking a
3
million years.
episodes. There's
to
only
get
3
through.
left.
Yeah, we keep saying that, but we
To
keep getting
be
to them. But it
praised.
also feels like there's still 2 more episodes. There's still 1 more episode. There's still another episode. Why?
I know it feels very Twilight Zoney, but we're almost there. It's good.
Oh god, I thought you were gonna say it feels very Twilighty, but
Yeah, so this is a 50-50 episode for me. I thought there was actually some good writing, some great performances. They can't save anything, though.
No.
You know, they come too late, they're unearned, they weren't built to, and it's just a waste of potential.
I mean, the show's been on a terminal decline since the end of season 3, but this really cements that we're never going to have those high times again of season 1 and 2.
Cool. That was series 4, episode 49 to a close. Thank you very much to the panel, and you can show your support by clicking on that like and subscribe and following us on all the major platforms. You can also leave us a comment or get in touch if you'd like to take part in a future episode of the podcast yourself. Just search for thetribe.co.uk or Conversations on Eagle Mountain. You can also throw us a donation. Just head on over to buymeacoffee.com/thetribe.co.uk. And we'll see you next time for episode 50. So until then, bye.
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 50 still sounds like a threat.